Hi, I'm Ryan, and next fall I'll be going to my sophomore year at Edgemont High School. My project is a gesture-controlled car. It's a car that's controlled by someone moving their arm around. So if you move forward or backwards, the car will move in the same direction. And if you kind of roll your arm like this, the car will turn. This video is the final milestone from a project. I've added a multi-speed function, which means that if I move or twist my arm a lot, the car goes faster, and if I only move a little, then the car will go much slower. This makes it easier to control and it makes it possible to do harder turns. I had an issue originally using a PWM pin on the ESP, which is the pin you would use to control the speed. And to fix this, I had used a script that was meant to make an LED fade in and out and not control motors. But I did eventually make it work, and now the speed is proportional to the amount of rotation. I also wanted to add a battery to the ESP, and originally I was going to try using a 3.3-volt battery to power the ESP and the gyroscope. But for some reason, the gyroscope wasn't getting enough power from the battery, even though the output of the ESP that I had previously been using was the same voltage. And I figured out that this was because the battery had a very low current. And this meant that I was going to have to connect two batteries in parallel in order to get enough power. So instead, I chose to simply use a USB power bank and a cable connecting to the ESP. And I continued to use the output of the ESP as the 3.3-volt power source for the gyroscope. The last notable thing I did was increase the user friendliness by adding indicator lights. So when the gyroscope has successfully been recognized by the ESP, a blue light on the remote turns on. And when the car starts to receive the gyroscope data, a blue light on the car turns on. And when that blue light turns on, the car
So
is
to plug
actually
in the
ready.
remote, it takes like very little time for the blue light to turn on. And then the car's blue light should turn on soon. And there it is. So now the car can be controlled. So I can turn it, move it forward. So if I turn just a little bit, it goes pretty slow, but if I turn a lot, it goes faster. And the same thing applies to forward and backwards, so a little bit, a lot. So the more you move it, the more the car moves.
Some further modifications I might want to make in the future would be adding IR sensors to prevent crashes, or maybe adding like a claw or grabbing device.